in that case, we have a few minutes before well, yeah, we have a few minutes of, well, we could start early because it's not a hearing. John, you have second on the agenda here, discussion on meeting minutes and decision formats and update on backlog meeting minutes.
So I'm looking for two things. One is direction on the decision format that you guys have seen a couple of times and is included tonight for the three RGFA decisions. And then also update on where we are, both from our administrative end on getting the backlog meeting minutes completed, and also on the various assignments that the board members have for reviewing the backlog minutes.
Okay, let's take the first thing first then. Format of the decisions that we're going to be looking at tonight, sort of revised format. Steve, I think you had a couple of suggestions. Do you want to talk about them now? Or general, or do you want to go through them in individual?
They're general.
Okay.
Well, it looks like John has already picked them up. Our conditions, there are categories of conditions that weren't listed. For example, conditions to be satisfied prior to the issuance of a building permit. And then there were three other categories, but it looks like you didn't think that they were needed because maybe they're in the same category. Let me just compare.
What is it that you're looking at right now, Steve?
Well, I'm just looking at any
Any
certificate of action.
Okay.
Doesn't matter which one.
Okay. So, for example, 6 Cottage Block.
I think yes.
He's got nothing.
Sure, that's actually the one I'm looking at.
Okay.
But
I have nothing on this.
You want to take a look at this?
I'm trying to find the
Right, so here's
email
six
that I
Cottage
sent.
Block.
This is sort of on the far through.
Okay, so there are 4 categories: conditions to be satisfied prior to the issuance of the building permit, general and erosion control conditions during construction, stormwater conditions, and conditions to be satisfied prior to the certificate of occupancy. So I see, John, that you have that first category in there.
Yes.
And I don't know the others.
Like this.
Right, exactly like
So here's,
that. And then there were also some conditions that were missing. First of all, I thought that the dimensional data should be in there, so John's added that. He just added the proposed rather than the existing proposed, which I think is fine, because I think the existing are kind of irrelevant. And then some of the conditions that needed to be added were things like, it has to be recorded at the registry of deeds. The planning board has to be provided with an electronic copy of the plans. The owners, project supervisor, builder, etc., have to each sign a copy. Those kinds of things weren't in there. A copy of the certificate of action has to be placed in a laminated sleeve on the project site. All fill used needs to be clean fill. The working hours, all of the sedimentation control devices, all that kind of stuff. I could go on, but there were quite a few conditions that I noticed weren't in these, so I asked that they be added.
Okay, and are they missing in all of them?
They were,
but they look like they're all back. I'm just looking at Cutter's Block.
except I don't see those categories.
Well,
No, I
but
didn't-
they're
I
all
didn't lump
under,
them into
yeah,
the
they're
rest.
all under just conditions,
Yeah.
like controlling erosion, all grades, blah, blah, blah.
Right, so
installed,
maybe-
stabilized.
Maybe they don't need to be categorized like that.
They can be if
They-
that's what
Because
you
they're
want.
pretty random. I mean, one of the things I love about this new format is how tight sort of the categories are, which makes it helpful. people like me were slightly confused most of the time.
So
And,
maybe,
yeah.
maybe. it
Yeah,
would
to categorize
benefit
the
to
conditions.
take the
Yeah.
four categories and separate
Well,
them out.
what I think you guys don't know is that John, Tony and I got together for a discussion about how to streamline
Yeah,
decisions.
Mhm.
And we don't have time to talk about it right now, but the concept was that we would take conditions that were boilerplate
mhm.
and issue them as appendices. in
Yeah, I
the-
like
in the
that
back.
idea.
So it'll be a much thinner version that we would actually have to read through.
Yeah?
And I don't know if you had that in mind, John,
Yeah.
before we put this together, but.
Mm-hmm.
So these aren't
So-
appendices.
No,
but
this
No,
is-
there's
it
no
could be
reason
locked,
that it
right, it
couldn't.
could be locked right off, and then,
So only those conditions that were sort of tailored to the site, in other words, would
Right.
be within the main body, and the rest of it.
Only the
is-
custom ones.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
Okay.
We wouldn't have to, I like that idea.
But are you gonna categorize those conditions that we're talking about?
Yeah. We're gonna have
them
to.
broken
Yeah,
down into
we're gonna have
for
to.
the appendices? Okay.
But I think it's clearer
Nice.
that way.
Yeah,
When you say categorize, you mean,
Before building.
okay,
permit,
yeah, that's essential to do that, because the reason why we constructed it that way was because we started to encounter difficulties with compliance,
right.
because there was no deadline to do things, so some things just got strung out infinitely,
And now we've got,
yeah.
So Roy has a shiny new presentation he'd like to give. I don't think we have time for it today, but I was gonna read it. I was gonna suggest it maybe next time.
yeah,
15
there's
minutes.
time on the next
Yeah.
agenda.
Okay, great.
To send it.
Okay,
So
so
I-
schedule that.
I think if we're going to do it as an appendix, then this condition about blasting, it gets into more specifics.
Should be a separate one.
You know, minimum 400 yards, blah, blah, blah. I think that that should be part of it, rather than just what we have in our current conditions, which are, should blasting be required, which the longer one says as well, you know, then we'll give you these conditions.
Right,
Might
we
as
should
well
always-
put it in the body if it's going to be an appendix.
Yeah, so you're saying that would be a standard
Right,
condition in the appendices?
yes.
Yeah, that makes sense, and
The reason
always
why-
the longer one,
Yeah, I think so.
right.
And, you know, one thing I had noticed is that we used to have a chart within the decision that had the listing of all the light fixtures, the types, the number, the lumens. But as John has not included it, I think that makes sense because it's already on the drawing.
Right, you don't have to.
Yeah, so there's no reason to
Yeah,
have it in
exactly.
the body, so I thought that was good.
Okay,
plus they're all here, within the body of it.
Yeah, but not the details, not
Yeah,
this.
Not the bulk
Oh,
size.
not the bulk size and stuff,
Very
okay.
But that-
specific information.
Okay.
That directly comes from the plan.
Right
There's no
on.
reason to
Okay.
repeat it here.
Right.
And make mistakes copying it.
Right, exactly. So I think it's all good.
okay. And what about part B of John's comments? Catching up on the earlier minutes, how's that going?
Good, I thought I sent out,
You did,
okay.
yeah.
Not just for this, but also for, I think it was April or something.
Yeah, we have April's
Oh, great.
in here to be reviewed and voted on.
Thank you.
I've done 2, I have 6 to go.
So how many are left that we have to catch up on, John? Do you know roughly?
You don't want to know.
You know, no, it's,
Yeah. And I have them listed somewhere about the ones I'm supposed to do, and they are so,
well, it's
2014.
2014, chip away.
Chip away at 'em.
Mhm.
1 a week.
When you're in Florida, you'll have plenty of time.
Don't want to sit in front of a tube and watch these, and I'm not even sure they're available anymore.
They're not, you have to
Yeah,
get.
I have to go get the,
Oh, no, you've
I
got to
would
do it
rather
from the
shoot
disc?
myself.
Don't.
It's available on Netflix.
Yeah. So what you
Just-
do,
Well,
take what's,
We have the wrong ones.
yeah, the raw minutes are there.
Uh-huh.
You make them, turn them into English. And then if something doesn't seem quite right,
Yeah.
and you're not sure, you can often find the answer in the certificate of action for that particular project
Okay.
because the detail is in there. And it came from the minutes, but the minutes were never refined.
Yeah.
okay.
She looks like a deer in the headlights.
So this is why we, in future, you're not involved in the minutes?
It's slowly falling backwards.
Because in the
Test
very
her.
beginning, I was supposed to be taking minutes. Do you remember since?
But I refuse to watch the videos.
Sad that I
too.
wasn't
I'm
there
not
in
taking that.
2014.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm gonna look at what the Attorney General requires for the state of Massachusetts,
Mhm.
and that will be in there,
Right.
okay? We all agreed?
Yep.
Rory will update you on
Yeah.
that.
What if we disagree?
Too bad. You, if you
Kinda what I
disagree
thought.
one peep, you get to do it.
Oh.
What? Did you say legs?
Yeah,
Good, okay.
okay. Anything else you want to say on that subject, John?
Do we want to talk about, say, the maintenance for the no work areas for invasive species, or do we want to leave that for a separate discussion? As an appendix, if you're going to include in the conditions some language that might.
Yeah, I thought we'd said that would become a standard
Yeah.
condition.
I have Kim's.
Yeah, Kim has a statement, right?
Yeah.
That was good.
So
This is,
put that on.
if it's no disturb, now they have to come back to us every time they want to cut out some bittersweet, so.
So stick the invasive
We're,
language.
that's right, we have some language in there that gives them the ability to actually keep things under control without having to come back to us every time.
And that'll be in the appendix?
Yes.
Great.
Under what, landscaping, would that be at the part
Yeah,
that's
maybe
under?
building
conditions.
I don't know.
That would be after, I think one of the categories is conditions to be satisfied after the C of O or something like that.
I don't think there is a category like that.
Well, then
I'm
we
wondering
could-
if there should be.
We could invent one.
Yeah,
Okay.
right, not ongoing.
Says everything is prior certificate of occupancy or
It's all
during
before
construction
occupancy.
or,
Right.
yeah, so